Hey, what's up? It's Jason.
And Sam.
And welcome to the Pop Punk Book Club. What is it about pop punk? A genre of music comprised mostly of 4 chords played fast and loud.
A genre preoccupied with dick and fart jokes.
A genre that celebrates adolescent angst that stays with you well into adulthood.
Timeless immaturity.
Yeah, and sometimes way more.
Somehow, each time you listen to these albums, you're transported on a wave of nostalgia back to a time when you didn't want to be told to act your age.
When all you wanted was a girlfriend that brought you Mexican food from sombreros.
When all you could do was trash your own house party because nobody came.
So it was sometime during the lockdowns of 2020, I sent Sam a message telling him I was listening to the album Does This Look Infected by Sum 41. I couldn't believe how ridiculously good it still was. Sam and I had met at high school more than 15 years earlier, and we'd forged a friendship over our joint love of pop punk. So we immediately jumped into a conversation about how underrated that album was.
Coincidentally, I had just read an article in Rolling Stone magazine listing the top 50 pop punk albums of all time. Naturally, we had to ask ourselves, had we missed any hidden gems? And honestly, how accurate was that list? What would the list of our favourite pop punk albums look like?
And that's how 2 dudes in their 30s, who were still teenagers at heart, decided to work their way through pop punk history. We dove into a bunch of albums. Some were classics, some didn't age that well, and some of them we'd never heard of before, in what we ended up calling the Pop Punk Book Club. It's our quest to discover and rank our favourite pop punk albums of all time.
Fast forward 5 years, and after obsessively fine-tuning what we believe is the most accurate way to rank albums, we're turning it into a podcast. Not just for us, but for you, to join us, discover new albums, and rank your own list with us.
So every week, we're going to dive into a different pop punk record. We're going to share our sometimes very controversial opinions, and we'll see where that record ranks on our list of our favourite pop punk albums.
Sometimes it'll just be us. Other times we'll bring in friends or special guests to chat with us. The book club is open to everyone. We want you to join the conversation. Tell us where we nailed it, where you think we totally missed the mark, and help us uncover even more of this incredible genre together.
So, if you're ready to dive into this genre with us and find out what your favorite pop punk albums of all time are, join us on the lounge. We've been waiting for you.
Welcome to the Pop Punk Book Club.
All right, so the only thing you need to know is how to rate albums like we do. Don't worry though, I've got you covered. We've created a little guide that breaks it down into 2 simple steps. We'll walk you through it right now, but trust me, you'll want to download this and check it out for yourself later. There are some specific emojis you'll need to get familiar with, and explaining emojis purely by voice is going to be a challenge. It might be easier for you to watch the video version of this episode on our YouTube channel. We've put the download link for the guide in the show notes or description for this episode, or you can get it at poppunkbookclub.com. All right, so this is how to rate like we do in 2 simple steps. Look, there's a bit of science behind this, and I could talk about it for hours, but I won't. The gist? Trying to decide what you like based purely on logic doesn't work. Why? Because it misses the most important part, how the music makes you feel. And that is what separates your favorite music from the rest. So, in the Pop Punk Book Club, we focus on how the songs make us feel. And that's all. We do that by using emojis to define our emotions. It's simple, accurate, and only takes 2 steps. Here's how it works. First, you have to listen to the album. After each song, pick the statement that best captures your feelings.
Another thing you shouldn't do is try to rate the music objectively. This isn't about rating based on what others think or may think about an album. You're here to figure out how you feel. If everyone else likes a particular song, but it doesn't hit you in the same way, be honest. This is your journey, not anyone else's.
If you think that the song is terrible and should never have been released, well, that's worth 1 point.
If you think the song is not very good and probably shouldn't have been on the album, that's worth 2 points.
If you think the song's fine, like it's enjoyable, but you didn't love it, but you're not really mad about it, well, that's worth 3 points.
If you think the song is good and you really enjoyed listening to it, that's worth 4 points.
If you think the song is great, if you think it's excellent, well, that's worth 5 points.
If you want to induct this song into your own personal Hall of Fame, we say this song deserves a crown. That's worth 6 points.
But what about those songs that affect you on a deep emotional level? The ones that move you in ways that you may not understand? Well, we say that those songs deserve a flame. That's worth 7 points. So, what about the contextual tracks? Some albums include tracks that aren't exactly songs, like intros, 30-second interludes, skits, or spoken word segments. While these tracks contribute to the album, it would be unfair to rate them in the same way as the other songs. I mean, who's going to say that a 30-second interlude, even if it's great, moved them on a deep emotional level? Because of this, we rate contextual tracks separately using a simplified system. Here's how it works.
If you think the track is terrible, that it shouldn't have been on the album, then that's worth 1 point.
If you think that the track served its purpose, that it was fine, well, that's worth 3 points.
And if you think the track is great, that it's a fantastic addition to the album, then that's worth 5 points.
All right, now it's time to rate the album. Add up the scores for all the tracks and find the average using a calculator. This gives you a total score for the album to use for your rankings. Then convert the score using the ranges below to find your overall feeling toward the album. If your score is between 0 and 1.75, then you think that that album is terrible.
If your score is between 1.76 and 2.75, then you think this album is not very good.
If your score is between 2.76 and 3.75, then you think the album is fine.
If your score is between 3.76 and 4.75, then you think this is a good album.
If your score is between 4.76 and 5.75, then you think it's a great album.
And if your score is between 5.75 and 6.99, then this is a crown album.
That's it. You're all done. You're ready to go and join us on one of the Pop Punk Book Club episodes.
However, if you're a massive rating nerd like Jason and I, then stick around because we're going to answer some frequently asked questions.
All right, so here's our frequently asked questions for nerds. For those interested in understanding the decisions behind our rating system, we've addressed some of the most frequently asked questions we receive. Enjoy.
So Jason, tell me, why do you rate song by song instead of rating the album as a whole?
Well, when we first started in 2020, we did rate albums as a whole for about a year. But eventually, we realized it wasn't working. We were rating albums unfairly, which led to inaccurate rankings. The first issue was that we weren't giving each song the attention it deserved. We'd put on an album, listen for a while, but then sometimes get distracted, tuning in and out, yet somehow still try to give a rating at the end. Naturally, those ratings weren't reliable. The second problem came down to the way albums are structured. Let's say we listened to an album we loved from our younger days. If it was front-loaded with great tracks but ended with some mediocre ones, we tend to overlook the weaker songs at the end and just rate the rest. That's not fair. The whole album should count. On the flip side, if it was an album we didn't have any attachment to, we'd fall victim to the peak end rule. Basically, if the album ended on a few boring tracks, that's what stuck in our minds, and we'd rate it lower than it deserved. So, now we rate song by song. This not only helps us discover our favorite tracks and make better playlists, but it also ensures that every song gets a fair rating, free from nostalgia or any other cognitive biases. So Sam, why are there 7 ratings instead of something more rounded like 5 or 10?
Because we needed them. We originally started with a 5-point rating system, but it didn't take long to realize that some songs are just better than great. They're on another level entirely. Take Blink-182's Enema of the State, for example. For me, the party song is a great song, fun and catchy, but it's not a crown song. Now, a song like Dumpweed, that's clearly better. That's why we created the crown tier, for songs that are better than the rest. But it wasn't long until we realized the next problem. There's a big difference between a crown song and a song that moves you on a deep and emotional level. So we introduced the final tier, the flame. The flame is for those rare songs that hit you on a completely different emotional level. Every album might have a crown or two, but only some albums have flames. For me, that's a song like What's My Age Again. Every time I hear it, it moves me in ways a regular crown just can't. So Jason, why is the third rating positive, not neutral?
Oh yeah, so in most standard rating systems, especially from like 1 to 5, a 3 is usually neutral. It's the middle ground. It's a way of saying, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. But in the music world, a neutral rating doesn't really make sense. Why? Because the need for bad isn't as strong as the need for good. A neutral 3 in a 1 to 5 system splits the scale evenly between good and bad, but truly bad music rarely gets released. It's rare for us to hand out 1s or 2s. If we made 3 less positive and more neutral, we would just create more room for negativity that we don't need. The reality is we need more space for good ratings than bad ones. That's why our rating system has 2 extra positive categories to capture those subtle differences in how much we like the music. If we tried to balance the scale just to look fair, it would be way less useful. There are many songs on an album that deserve a fine, enjoyable, but not anything great, which makes this rating useful. A truly neutral rating, on the other hand, would rarely get used. And worse yet, it would mess up the rest of the scale. All right, last question, Sam. Why are the albums rated using 0.75s instead of round numbers?
Again, this happened from road testing the rating system. One day I was rating an album with a live average that updated as I scored each song. The first 3 tracks were all great, a score of 5 for each, which gave the album a perfect 5 average. A great album so far. However, it was barely a great album by this standard, even though all the songs so far were great. But when I rated the 4th track as good, a score of 4, the overall rating dropped to 4.75. Now the album wasn't considered great anymore, even though 3/4 of it was. If that pattern continued, with most of the album being great and just a few good songs, the album would unfairly end up being labelled as good when the majority of it was great. So I adjusted the thresholds by 0.25 for each category. This gives albums more room to move within the rankings without letting a minority of lower rated songs drag the overall score down.
So that's it. That's all you should need to know about our rating system. If there's anything else you want to know, though, you can reach out. Email us at any time at podcast@poppunkbookclub.com or go to poppunkbookclub.com and you can contact us there. You can also contact us on any of our socials. We can't wait for you to join us on this journey. See you in the next episode.
When he had like the poofy hair with that,
Yes.
whatever, when he had the,
Yeah. The coiffed hair.
yeah,
Is that the word?
quiff.
Quiff? Coif. It's coif.
It's quiff.
It's coif.
What's quaff? This is a
Like
podcast
coiffed
bit.
hair.
Are you talking about like a quiff in your hair, like a guy?
It's a coif, isn't it?
No, it's a quiff. Anyway,
I want to get the fucking hair question sorted out.
more important stuff.
Shame the internet sucks down here. It's like being in a fucking cave.
A quiff haircut is a classic man's hairstyle characterized by longer hair on top, particularly in the front, shorter hair in the back and sides. Is that what you're talking about? A quiff? A quaff?
Where does it actually say
I've never heard the word quaff in my life.
quiff? Coif.
How would you spell that? Quoff. Oh! No, quaff means to drink something in large amounts.
I'm sure.
The top question is,
How do you spell
how
coif
do you
as in
spell
hairdo?
quaff as in a hairdo? Do you write that just then? How do you spell
What is a
quaff?
coif? What is a coif of hair? The word coif does not relate to hair.
You mean quiff?
Coiffed hair is commonly misspelling of coif, which quiff.
Queef! Queef isn't the word.
So I was thinking coif, and it's quiff. Apparently.